Imagine if everyone in your neighborhood woke up one day and all their money was just gone. Houses worth nothing. Jobs disappeared. Savings vanished. This actually happened. Multiple times. And millions of people lost everything overnight. Today, we're breaking down the worst financial crises in history, explained so simply that a 5-year-old could understand them. These aren't just boring history lessons. These are catastrophic events that destroyed entire economies and ruined millions of lives. And the scary part? They could happen again. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into some of the most devastating economic collapses in human history. We're talking about events so catastrophic that they reshaped entire countries and changed the world forever. And I'm going to explain each one like you're 5 years old. Because honestly, when you strip away all the complicated finance jargon, these crises happened for pretty simple and pretty stupid reasons. Let's get into it. Crisis number 1, the Great Depression. Let's start with the big one, the Great Depression. Here's the 5-year-old version. Imagine everyone at school is trading baseball cards. At first, cards cost 25 cents. Then someone says, "Hey, I'll pay 50 cents for that card." Soon, everyone thinks cards will keep getting more expensive, so they start borrowing money to buy more cards. Cards are now selling for $5, then $10, then $20 each. Everyone feels rich. Then one day, someone tries to sell their card and nobody wants to buy it. Panic spreads. Everyone tries to sell at once. Cards that were $20 yesterday are now worth 10 cents. Everyone who borrowed money to buy cards is now broke and owes money they can't pay back. That's basically what happened in 1929, except instead of baseball cards, it was stocks. People were buying stocks with borrowed money, believing prices would keep rising forever. The stock market went up 400% between 1924 and 1929. Everyone thought they were getting rich. Banks were lending money like crazy. People were buying stocks on margin, meaning they'd pay 10% and borrow the rest. Then, on October 29th, 1929, Black Tuesday, everything collapsed. The stock market crashed 25% in 2 days. Banks that had lent money to stock buyers went bankrupt. When banks failed, people's savings disappeared. No deposit insurance existed back then. The numbers are staggering. Stock market lost 90% of its value. 25% unemployment rate. 1 in 4 people had no job. 9,000 banks failed. People's life savings vanished overnight. The crisis lasted 10 years. The 5-year-old lesson? When everyone thinks something will keep getting more expensive forever and starts borrowing money to buy it, that's when you should run away. Because when the music stops, someone's going to be left holding worthless cards. Crisis number 2, the 2008 housing crash. Now let's jump to something more recent, the 2008 financial crisis. Some of you might remember this one. Here's the playground version. Imagine a teacher starts giving out candy to every kid in class, even kids who never bring lunch money and probably can't pay her back. The teacher doesn't care because she's selling the "I owe us" to another teacher who thinks they're valuable. Soon, everyone has candy "I owe us." Kids are trading these "I owe us" like they're worth something. Some kids have 10 "I owe us," 20 "I owe us," 50 "I owe us." Nobody's actually eating candy anymore. They're just trading papers that say, "I owe you candy." Then one day, someone asks to actually collect their candy, but the kids who owe candy don't have any. They never did. The whole system collapses. Everyone's "I owe us" are worthless. The teachers who bought these "I owe us" are broke. That's the 2008 crisis in a nutshell, except instead of candy, it was houses. Banks were giving mortgages to anyone with a pulse. No job? No problem. No down payment? Here's a loan. They gave mortgages to people who couldn't afford them. These were called subprime mortgages, or ninja loans. No income, no job, no assets. Why would banks do something so stupid? Because they weren't keeping the loans. They were packaging them up, calling them mortgage-backed securities, and selling them to investors around the world. The banks made their money up front and passed the risk to someone else. Everyone thought housing prices would keep rising forever. Between 2000 and 2006, house prices nearly doubled. People were buying houses not to live in, but to flip for profit. Then the bubble burst. Housing prices started falling. People with bad mortgages couldn't pay. When they defaulted, the entire global financial system seized up because everyone owned pieces of these toxic mortgages. The damage: 8 million people lost their jobs. 6 million Americans lost their homes to foreclosure. Stock market dropped 57%. $19.2 trillion in household wealth vanished. The global economy nearly collapsed. Major banks like Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. The U.S. government had to bail out banks with $700 billion in taxpayer money just to prevent total economic collapse. The 5-year-old lesson? If someone's giving away something valuable to people who can't pay for it, and then trying to sell those promises to other people, the whole thing is going to explode eventually. Crisis number 3, tulip mania. Let's go way back to one of the first recorded economic bubbles. Tulip mania in the Netherlands, 1637. Yes, I'm serious. Tulips, flowers. Here's how dumb this got. Imagine everyone in your town decides that one specific type of sticker is the coolest thing ever. At first it costs $1, then $10, then $100. People start selling their bikes, their video games, even their houses to buy these stickers. A single sticker sells for the price of a mansion. People aren't even buying the actual stickers anymore. They're buying contracts that promise a sticker will be delivered in the future. Some people have never even seen the sticker. They just know it's expensive, so it must be valuable. Then one day someone says, "Wait, this is just a sticker." Panic. Everyone tries to sell. Within weeks, stickers that sold for the price of a house are worth less than a pack of gum. That's tulip mania. In 1637, a single tulip bulb could cost as much as a luxury home in Amsterdam. People were mortgaging their homes and businesses to buy tulip bulbs. The rarest bulbs sold for 10 times the annual income of a skilled craftsman. Here's the insane part. People weren't even buying actual tulips most of the time. They were buying tulip futures, contracts to buy tulips that hadn't even grown yet. Then, in February 1637, at an auction, nobody showed up to buy. Prices collapsed overnight. Tulip bulbs lost 99% of their value in weeks. People who had bet their entire fortunes were financially ruined. The 5-year-old lesson? It doesn't matter how popular something is or how high the price goes. If the thing itself has no real value, eventually everyone will figure it out, and you don't want to be the last one holding it. If you're shocked that people actually went bankrupt over flowers, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you want to learn more about the crazy things humans do with money, subscribe to the channel, because these stories just keep getting wilder. All right, let's continue. Crisis number 4, the dot-com bubble. Remember the late 1990s? The internet was new, and everyone thought anything with .com in the name was worth billions. 5-year-old version. Imagine if anyone who said they had an internet idea instantly became rich, even if the idea was terrible or made no sense. Kid 1, I'm going to sell dog food online. Investors, here's $300 million. Kid 2, I'm going to deliver groceries using the internet. Investors, here's $500 million. Kid 3, I don't even have a business plan, but I have a website. Investors, take my money. That's the dot-com bubble. Between 1995 and 2000, anything internet-related was gold. companies with zero revenue were worth billions. Pets.com sold dog food online and spent $300 million, mostly on a Super Bowl commercial with a sock puppet. They went bankrupt 9 months after their IPO. Webvan was going to revolutionize grocery delivery. They raised $800 million. They went bankrupt in 2001, losing all of it. Cosmo.com delivered stuff to your door in under an hour. They burned through $250 million and shut down after the bubble burst. The NASDAQ stock index, which tracks tech companies, went from 1,000 points in 1995 to 5,000 points in March 2000. Everyone thought it would keep climbing forever. Then reality hit. These companies weren't making money. Most had no path to profitability. They were burning cash on marketing and growth without any sustainable business model. The bubble burst in March 2000. By October 2002, NASDAQ lost 78% of its value. $5 trillion in market value vanished. Hundreds of internet companies went bankrupt. Millions of people lost their jobs and retirement savings. The 5-year-old lesson? Just because something is new and exciting doesn't mean it's valuable. If a company doesn't actually make money, eventually the money runs out, no matter how cool the idea sounds. If these financial disasters are blowing your mind, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We break down economics, business, and money in ways that actually make sense. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Now let's wrap this up. So, what did we learn today? Financial crises happen when people forget basic common sense. When prices go way up for no good reason, when everyone's borrowing money they can't pay back, when people think this time is different. That's when disaster strikes. History repeats itself because humans never learn. Don't be one of them. See you in the next video.